tell me where the freak's at.
Girl had an appetite for spending.
Are you sure you weren't buying stuff and then reselling it?
Ooh, bad girls you love to hate. Today on Judge Joe Brown.
A woman's Christmas spirit is wasted on her over-consuming niece. Office Assistant Catherine Nixon is suing her niece for credit card charges. Defendant Denise Croston says her mom took care of any of her debts. Now, here's Judge Joe Brown.
Would appear that you're suing your niece for $4,773. Is that right?
Yes.
You first, ma'am.
Okay, last November, my niece came to me and asked me if she could borrow a credit card to help out with Christmas. She has a small daughter, and it was the holidays, so I was willing to help her, but it was agreed upon that she would pay me back in full with her income tax that she would receive in a few months.
Well, how much did you anticipate that she was going to charge?
Well, I didn't think she would spend more than $300 or $400, or $500 at the most.
When you got your bill, how much did it amount to?
It was a little over $5,000. I got my bill the day after Christmas, and I about went into shock. I emailed my niece to let her know and ask her what she was going to do about it, because this wasn't what we agreed upon. She emailed me back and she said that she didn't realize she spent that much, that she would pay me back. When I got the bill, it looked like they lived off of my credit card for approximately 5 weeks. They ate out like 15 times. They went to Garfield's, Taco Bell, Texas Roadhouse.
She doesn't look like she missed any meals.
No. Also, she works at Kroger's, and she spent a lot at Kroger's, like I have around 19 times. She spent money at the Meadowbrook Mall.
Kmart, Supercenter, Walmart, Supercenter, Walmart, Supercenter, Kroger, Target, etc., Denny's, Burger King. Well, there's one down here that charged December 3rd, $185.92 to Toys R Us, but...
Yeah, I'll give her credit for that. The rest, I don't see where they even have anything to do with Christmas.
Subway. There's even a cell phone bill down here, cellular accessories, a tobacco specialties shop, let's see, smoke shop. The charges go after Christmas has come and gone.
My daughter was
I suppose that's after Christmas sales. I'm glad you found out before she ran it up to the credit limit.
Well, I got my bill the day after Christmas, never dreaming she would do such a thing.
Then you got another bill, because
yeah,
that was a nice Christmas present for you.
Yes, it was, Your Honor.
All right, so let's go to the defendant. What do you have to say?
Well, I did spend and I did overspend.
A whole lot of overspend.
Yeah, we like to eat, I guess. I said we like to eat, I guess. But I know I did overspend. But we do make payments. Well, my mom makes payments to her.
You're in your 30s, for God's sake. Why should your mother have to pay this?
I just don't make enough money.
And she didn't pay her sister but $438.
Right, she makes the monthly payment because I can't afford to.
Well, then why, if you couldn't afford it, did you decide, like you were 12 years old, ooh, I got mommy's credit or auntie's credit card, let me go run it up? What were you doing?
A lot of those places were Christmas shopping.
For whom?
Family.
What in the family?
My nieces and nephews, and of course my daughter.
Your nieces and nephews. How much did you spend on them?
I couldn't tell you an exact amount. I don't.
Less than
apparently
200.
Too much.
Less than 200. What about the other $5,000 plus? What did you do with that?
I just figured we'd make the payments to her and.
No, $249.05 Walmart Supercenter, Kmart $219.37, Kmart, $260.84.
Yeah, that's all for Christmas. That's
Walmart.
either Christmas gifts or
Christmas
groceries.
Gifts?
I didn't know groceries.
$195 Walmart Supercenter. $110 Kroger. Another $100 for Kroger approximately, $96.02. You ate all of that in 3 days? Another Kroger. It's just $8.50 there the same day. It goes.
No, you can buy gift cards and whatnot
Gift
there
cards?
also for Christmas.
She bought a $6 gift card from Kroger.
No.
What's that supposed to do? Buy a box of cornflakes or something? Kroger, $136.77. Who were you feeding?
Well, just the family that.
The family?
With. Yeah, me and my daughter and my mom and dad. And then we also bought, Christmas dinner, things for Christmas dinner.
Are you sure you weren't buying stuff and then reselling it to people at a discount?
No, I would never do that.
And, oh, you sure?
No,
and you're
I'm very
raising
sure.
money?
We're back with Judge Joe Brown. The plaintiff in this case says she was happy to loan her credit card to her niece for Christmas. She was horrified to find the defendant was living off that card. Let's take a look.
How do you account for $5,000?
Well, apparently I didn't realize how much I was spending at the time.
How can you not? What about the hundreds of dollars at a time in Walmart Supercenter, Target, Kroger's? What are you buying?
The Target and the Kmart would be Christmas because that's all, you can
Yeah,
buy
but you're
stuff.
going 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week. What are you buying?
We bought a lot for the kids.
You have
more
one
than
week where you bought
have.
almost $1,100 worth of groceries, and another one you got a close on $1,400. Now, what are you getting?
Pretty
You mean
much
to tell me
anything we
you ate up
wanted.
$4,500 worth of groceries at this Christmas fest? What
No,
happened
but we
to
did
it?
feed quite a few people, and we were the
How
only
many
ones
did
to
you feed?
buy it.
And when was it your obligation to feed everybody?
When the family doesn't bring anything when they come to
Well,
visit.
why didn't you at least ask her?
Because we know that other people don't really have the money, so we
Well,
try
didn't
to
you
help.
take the moment of asking her if she had it? What happened, Burr? Are you getting child support?
No, I'm not.
Why not?
Because my daughter's father is no good.
How do you pay your rent?
I don't have to pay rent.
You have no money, no child support. You can't get an apartment. You can't get a credit card. What were you trying to raise money for? You borrowed money from another friend, $1,500 plus, and you can't tell me what it was for because you forgot.
It was probably to fix the car, if I'm
Fix
thinking
the
right.
car?
Yes.
How'd you pay your friend back?
With my taxes, I paid
With
her.
your taxes?
Mhm.
All $1,700 of them.
And then I had told Kathy that we would make payments, and
Have you made any?
yes, my mother
Not
has.
your mother, you.
Me personally?
Yes, you.
No.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Now, you've been misleading everybody, and I suspect somebody who, or somebodies who were not family members, benefited very much from what you did to ambush your aunt. Well, I added up your interest is $49,1784. So your award will be $49,1784 and your cost.
Thank you.
This courtroom is now in recess.
Bicycle, vicious dog bite, and a thick boot that saves the day. Plaintiffs Kelly and Stephen Richards are suing their neighbor for medical bills. Defendant Monica Taylor says the plaintiff brought on the attack herself. Now it's Joe time.
Mr. and Mrs. Richards, you are alleging that Mrs. Richards was bitten by a pit bull owned by Ms. Taylor.
Yes.
All right, and you also, as part of your damages, are seeking compensation for having to install a power opener in your garage because you felt it was hazardous to be exposed to the defendant's pit bull, who you allege was running at large in the front yards of the homes.
Correct. And I've contacted animal control numerous times, and other neighbors have expressed to me in regards to concrete being let loose, and I've had
That's
to.
the dog. That's your dog, right? Is that your dog? Wait a minute. How do you know whether she contacted them or not?
Because I have the reports here.
That's only, what you've submitted is only one particular incident. But why don't you hold your point?
Okay.
And we'll come to you.
Okay.
Okay, so I've had problems when I'm trying to load the 2 babies into the car or unload them from the car.
What kind of problems?
When I go out to the car, Concrete would come over and kind of corner me and growl, and his hair would rise up, and he'd start barking, where I had to run into my house or to the driver's side so I wouldn't get attacked by the dog.
You felt in danger.
Not true
Yes.
at all.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Be polite. Wait your turn. You'll
Yes,
get it.
sir. All right. Thank you.
So, pulling into the driveway, the dog has also cornered me where I've been scared and could not get out of the vehicle.
What happens on the day in question?
Okay, well, on March 27th, it was a Saturday, we left our house for a few hours to go to the store. Our 7-year-old left the tricycle out in our front yard. We came back 3 hours later, and it was gone. So the next morning, it really got to me because it's an expensive tricycle. And so I went ahead and made a police report that morning at 10 a.m. And I do have that with me as well.
All right, you submitted a copy of that.
Yes, and so that day after I submitted the police report, we were working in our front yard. I went inside the house to go change the baby's diaper. I kept hearing like a squeak come from the backyard. So I went up on my bed, looked out the window, and it goes into Miss Taylor's backyard. I saw her grandson riding our tricycle. So I have pictures of the grandson riding our tricycle. So I went ahead and I was just shocked. I was like, why would a neighbor steal from us? So I went back over and I said, Monica, you need to bring our tricycle back. That is not yours. She told us, and at this time my husband, Steve,
And before
came
you
out.
interrupt, I know you say she was cussing and hollering about it. Okay, go ahead. Now,
Okay.
keep going.
So she then came up with a story that she actually thought it was for free.
For free?
Yes, because it was left in our front yard. And I said, no, the neighborly thing to do is to come and knock on the door and say, this is left out. Are you by chance getting rid of it? She then changed her story and said that, well, it was found in her yard that morning. So they assumed that we were giving the tricycle to them.
So that's another story. I hadn't heard that one, but in any event,
Meaning,
go right ahead.
during this time, I had no clue that Concrete was there, the pit bull. There's no bark, no growl, nothing. And all of a sudden, my foot just got clamped down. And I knocked down to the ground, and I kept trying to tug because he had a hold of my foot. And I just thought he was going to attack my face and just keep going at it.
Okay.
So I'm pushing myself on the ground and finally got my foot tugged away. Meantime, Miss Taylor and her daughter are just standing there, not saying anything or doing anything. So we went inside our house, called the police. Animal control came out. Miss Taylor's daughter, Quanika, loaded the dog into a car, and they left.
Before animal control got
Before
there.
animal control could get there, because I did let them know. I said, I'm calling the police. This is not okay.
And don't you interrupt.
So,
So now you're saying that you had an exchange with the defendant's witness. When did that happen?
of her saying that she would kick
Yes.
my
Yes.
that was after
You call a baby and call it.
You shut your mouth. Now, before you get out of hand, let me put it this way. There are various California laws, including criminal, that apply to disrupting these proceedings. So I suggest you stop that. Now, go right ahead,
So
please.
when before animal control did get there and before Quanika did lift concrete into the car, she came over with the tricycle and with her son and kind of like took the tricycle and kind of pushed it down on the ground and looked at my husband and said, I've been nothing but nice to your wife. She is now being a And I thought, well, how are you being nice when you're stealing from me? Your dog just bit me. You don't apologize. You don't ask how I'm doing, and you're just standing there. How is that being nice?
We'll be right back with Judge Joe Brown.
So, if the hose went through here, this is what I was trying to find out, if the hose went through where.
There's nothing to do with a hole. We're not talking about a
Right. A
puncture
bite mark
wound.
through the shoe.
We're talking about a crunch.
A crunch, okay.
We're back with Judge Joe Brown. The plaintiff says she was in her yard when her neighbor's pit bull poked his head through her fence. She says the dog clamped down on her foot. And what saved her from serious injury was her boot. Let's take a look.
You have a medical bill here that you've submitted, $394, and also you're seeking a replacement cost for the boots.
Correct.
All right, now, Madam Sonia, would you pass that item of footwear up to the arbitrator, please?
Will I be able to see that boot?
All right.
Okay. So, as the holes went through here, this is what I was trying to find out, if the holes went through where.
There's nothing to do with a hole. We're not talking about a puncture wound. We're talking about a crunch, a squeeze.
A crunch, okay.
Now, you have the floor.
Okay. Are you sure?
Don't get cute.
Okay, but anyway.
Be creatively cute.
Basically, what happened was the night before, the Richards had a yard sale, as they said. Kelly and Steve were not at home, so I pushed it up into my garage, the trike into the garage. The way our houses are shaped, they're different. I just pushed it in there, left to go get my son. Came back home in a nutshell, forgot about it. Laid down early in the morning. When all of this happened, I heard Kelly yelling.
I'm looking at Exhibit 1 from the photographic or demonstrative evidence. It's your grandson on their trike in your backyard.
Correct.
Now, how do you explain that?
Well, I'm trying to explain every time you keep cutting me off.
Well, you aren't going on anything relevant. Get to the point.
So
you're at the fence line. I'm leading you back to the fence line. Now.
So at that time when she was yelling, kicking the fence, and said she's going to have us arrested and this and that and the other, my dog was in the garage. He came out, snapped her on her foot. Okay.
Was she physically threatening you? Was she physically threatening you?
Yeah,
you said she was calling the police.
She gonna threaten us and she gonna throw us in jail.
So what happened if your dog ran out and hit her?
So the dog did what he was supposed to do. She kicked him in the face.
What do you mean he did what he's supposed to do?
He did
Where do you get that idea? Where do you get that idea?
She was
you couldn't even done what the dog did.
Okay, excuse me?
How can the dog do legally what you can't do legally?
Okay.
Nobody's threatening to get physical with anybody. The threat is I'm calling the police and animal control.
Okay.
Or what the hell are you doing with my son's trike over here?
And I tried to explain that just like I couldn't explain it to you just now. Not giving me a chance, I couldn't explain it to them. Two of them yelling at me.
So the dog can attack her and use physical force that you couldn't. You couldn't have hit her.
No,
she couldn't have hit her. So why can your dog bite her? Oh, that's what the dog's supposed to do.
No, she was on our property kicking the fence, yelling at my grandson, yelling at my grandson, and yelling at me. So my dog did what he was supposed to do.
The property line, part of the fence faces her property.
Right.
She didn't kick you?
Right. This line goes across.
And by the way, your dog for the preceding period of discussion here for at least 1 year has been running at large with no leash in various people's front yards, and there are apparently a lot of children in the neighborhood.
No, she got a lot of children.
Okay,
everybody else got one.
You have a 2-year-old grandson. Okay, put the chart up. Put the chart up. This is not dog bites, crunch like we're talking about. This is, they use down here gross bodily harm, or some states say serious bodily injury, or death. 2/3 of that total with pit bulls is children under the age of 10.
Right.
So you, where is this? You have all of these young children in the neighborhood. You had an animal that you don't keep on the leash.
No, the dog do be on a leash, but the dog was not
and
on a
it's
leash
running
then.
free in the front yard, and there are other reports. So the bottom line is, I'm listening to you. Then you made the gratuitous remark, and that's what he did. What he was supposed to do. That's what he was trained to do. All right, that's it.
But she was
so the bottom line is if that's what the dog was supposed to be, you created a nuisance. That means it's intentional conduct, which brings into play punitive damages. $778.30 and $2,000 punitive. Your total recovery is $2778.30, and that's pathetic, lady.
That's crazy.
That's the award. End done deal. Out of here. Bye. Fox, for let's see, about 3 years, you and your boyfriend lived in one side of a duplex.
Yes, Judge
That was surrounded by a lot.
That's correct.
You eventually moved out. You received permission from the landlord to park your vehicle there.
That's right.
Your next-door neighbor was a young woman who turns out to be, or is purportedly, the girlfriend of the defendant.
That's right.
It appears that the defendant moved in with his girlfriend, and information from the landlord indicates that he was unaware of this, and the defendant's not listed as an authorized adult occupant, but nevertheless, he called and had your vehicle towed. How long were you there now? You give me your testimony.
I lived there for 3 years.
Is this your boyfriend?
Yes, this
come
is
up here,
Elliot's
young
my
man.
boyfriend.
You two live there?
That's correct, along with my sister.
And sister. All right. Now, when did you move out?
We moved out the beginning of April. My lease is not up until August 1st. There was fighting that took place.
Okay, I understand. I'll get there. So, in other words, when this happens, your lease was actively alive and in place, and you were a tenant. You just vacated physically the premises, but you were still an authorized tenant in the leasehold, and you were paying your rent. Yes? Okay.
That's correct.
So what happens with the vehicle?
Well, we had been checking on the car and, talking to the landlord about when we were going to move the car. I went to check on the car on May 18th, and the vehicle was not there. And I got a hold of the girls in the apartment, and I said, do you know where the car is? I called the landlord. I said, do you know where the car is? And no one knew where it was. So the next thing I knew to do was call the cops to report the car stolen. Mr. Shaw came outside and told me that he had my car towed. I asked him why he had the car towed. He said because he did not have place for his friends to park whenever they came over. There's a picture in the evidence of the lot. It's a large lot.
Let's look at it.
And the house up there, the trees kind of hide
Party
it.
Central, I suppose. Not enough room?
Well, students also park there along with, the tenants in that building.
Aren't you a student?
I'm a grad student, yes, sir.
Grad student, yes. You're working on your MBA. Very
That's correct.
good.
And Mr. Shaw didn't have a vehicle, and neither did his girlfriend. And the girls that moved into the apartment, they only had one vehicle. And as you can tell, we just took this picture. No one is even parked even close to
Which one is the part that we're talking about?
It's the house right behind the tree there.
That one?
Yes, that is it.
Okay.
And I asked him if he would go get the car out from the tow company, and he told me that he wouldn't be in the situation that he was in if it wasn't for me.
My objection.
Oh, what situation are you talking about?
This has nothing
Oh, that's because you called the police one evening when some things were going on around the place.
Right. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I object, sir. This has nothing to do with the situation.
Oh, yes, it does. It may indicate that you had a motive to retaliate. Tell me about the incident leading to the alleged or purported arrest of the defendant.
Okay, there was a fighting and partying going on. I'd gotten woken up several nights in a row because I'm assuming they were coming home from the bar because it was 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning.
As a grad student dealing with a heavyweight subject like getting a master's of business administration, you have to work hard, study hard, need your sleep, and when it's time for recreation, you need no hassle.
It's on the weekend, and I do the same thing. I'm a student as well.
What are you studying?
I'm studying business management as long as it's paralegal.
Are you an undergrad or
I'm
grad?
An undergrad. I'm a junior this year, sir.
Well, there's a hell of a difference between grad school and being an undergrad.
Go to school.
You work a lot harder in college than you did in high school, and you work about 5 times harder in grad school than you work as an undergrad.
But there's no school on a Saturday.
So what? When do you study? It ain't exactly like you can do it in 2 or 3 hours a day.
You can't do 2 hours at regular college work neither. And take care of a dog.
Well, you party too much.
I don't party too much.
Well, you're talking over me, and that's not good.
Okay.
So I called the cops this night because I woke up at around 4 o'clock, and it sounded like they came in, but I'm not sure how they got in, but there was a lot of roughhousing or something going on over there, and Mr. Shaw got taken away that evening. He came,
I'm not sure exactly when he got back. He moved out of the house. Everything was calm, and then he moved back in the house later on, a few weeks. The fighting started, the partying started. That's whenever I got fed up with it, because the cops really didn't do anything and the landlord wasn't doing anything. So I needed to go ahead and get myself somewhere else. So that's whenever we went ahead and moved out.
And you also allege in your complaint that one of the reasons you moved out was from the continuous loud arguments and yelling matches between the defendant and his girlfriend, who was your neighbor.
That's correct.
So let's see, we're talking $1,770 for towing and storage fees. Your invoice shows that the towing fees were $95, and because of your student status and lack of financial wherewithal, it has run 67 days at $25 a day for $1,675, totaling $1,770.
It is currently still in the car, and so...
I gather, because you are a broke student.
Yes.
We'll be right back with Judge Joe Brown.
How did you do something so damn dumb?
What do you mean dumb? I towed a car. Yeah, like I robbed a bank. That's dumb. Doing drugs is dumb. Selling drugs is dumb.
So why did you have it towed?
Why I have it towed? Because it was there. It was in a spot that we needed.
The defendant says the plaintiff moved and left her car in a spot he needed. He feels totally justified in calling the police and having that vehicle towed away. Let's take a look.
Now, you have the floor.
My situation was, obviously she came prepared with the evidence with the pictures, but that parking lot that she showed on the picture is not
good. That's called taking care of business.
It's not I'm not. I appreciate that. I'm fine. That's great. The parking lot is not our whole parking lot, and she knows that. That parking lot is not our whole parking lot. Where you have highlighted the area, that's where we can park. And we.
Well, look. Let me direct your attention to the issue you need to address. At the time the vehicle was towed, based on the records from the towing company, she still had a leasehold. She was entitled to be there. So you say that the parking lot is only for tenants that live there. Now, what is your contract or lease with this property anyway? You're not on one.
I did. Little she didn't know I did.
Are you on a lease?
Yes, I'm on a lease right now there.
Where?
There, at that property.
When did you get put on that lease?
After school let out, May 6th.
After school let out, which is after these events. So you had no standing. You were a judicious interloper who came in there and decided to stick your nose in somebody else's business, and you decided to determine she didn't live there, have any right to be there, and she was cluttering up the parking. Well, on her lease agreement with the landlord, the management, she's got a right to park there as the principal leaseholder, the principal tenant.
Oh, it all sounds good. I hear you.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
It all sounds good, but like
what's the point about it sounds good?
It sounds good. Like my hearing, like sounds good.
So
the
what's
words
the
sound
point?
good, but the point is, I don't see how I would pay $1,700 for a vehicle that doesn't run nor work.
That's
cause
correct.
you don't understand why. You don't understand.
I don't.
You don't understand why.
No, I don't.
How did you do something so damn dumb?
What do you mean dumb? I towed a car. Yeah, like I robbed a bank. That's dumb. Doing drugs is dumb. Selling drugs is dumb.
So why did you have it towed?
Why I have it towed? Because it was there. It was in a spot that we needed.
Who's we?
Me and my girlfriend. The girlfriend that lived at the house. We
For
needed the
what
spot.
purpose?
She does have a car now.
You sound like you engaged in reckless activity, totally oblivious, reckless to the contractual relationship between the plaintiff and the landlord, the management, the property holder in question, and recklessly you acted on some misbegotten idea you had that there is no basis in law for you having.
Misbegotten idea.
That means you're subject to punitive damages.
Misbegotten idea of towing a car. Towing a car is a misbegotten idea. Towing someone's car that's bothering you right there. So if you go outside right now and someone's car is parked in front of the Judge Joe Brown place and they and you get it towed, that's a misbegotten idea? Is it a misbegotten idea? Oh, I didn't think so.
It's a specious analogy.
Oh, it is, but it's an analogy you have to think about.
I don't have to think about it. So I tell you what, Since you don't get the point and you still haven't gotten the idea of the error of your ways, we have 1,770 actual. Since there's been several days added on that since the calculation, I'm making it $2,200. Your jurisdictional maximum is $5,000. Therefore, that will be 2,800 punitive damages on top of that. Total recovery will be 5,000. That's how stupid you are, and you don't even know what you did to yourself.
Shrimp boil in an alcohol-fueled rush for cocktail sauce ends with a driver swimming to safety. Handyman William Pitt is suing his ex-girlfriend for totaling his SUV. Defendant PIRRO Richie says it was an accident. Now, here's Judge Joe Brown.
Let's see, Mr. Pitt, you say your former girlfriend was operating your 1998 Mitsubishi Montero sport truck, and she totaled it. And Miss Ritchie, you seem to be asserting as a defense that you don't owe because it was an accident and not on purpose, as the plaintiff appears to believe. You first, sir.
Okay, a friend of mine had called me, it was July, wanted to do a shrimp boil, and he said he brought some shrimp and some beer. And we
Sound like you're from Alabama, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go right ahead.
He brought the shrimp and the beer, and we were sitting around cooking the shrimp. Realized we didn't have no cocktail sauce. So she said she would go get the cocktail sauce, and I told her no because everybody had been drinking. Next thing I know, she's gone in my truck. Come back soaking wet. Couldn't tell me where my truck was at.
This part is amusing.
She said, run my truck off in a creek.
And swam to shore and hitched the ride back to the party.
Yes, sir.
That's nice and simple to the point. Did you get the vehicle repaired, or is it irreparable?
No, sir. It's beyond repair. It's like the estimate to fix the body on it's like 2 times more than the truck's worth.
3,800 private purchase. Okay. Let me see your pictures. Madam Sonia, if it be so kind.
Well. You can see she didn't even try to stop when she ran into the ditch.
Yeah, it appears to have gotten rather waterlogged. From what I'm looking at, it's a mess. All right, you've given me a sworn accounting. All appears to be in order. Let's go to the defendant. Now, give me your defense, please.
He swears that I did it on purpose, and I didn't. After I seen
how did you manage to wind up in the middle of this creek and have to swim to the shore?
Because there was an oncoming car coming in my lane. I swerved to avoid it and wound up in the creek. You think I wanted to swim to shore?
Okay, so somebody was coming towards you and you had to swerve to get out of the way, right?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
after much beer and other whatever that you consumed, everybody was half drunk, so he didn't want anybody driving, so let's deal with it.
I object to
you
that.
know, well, you object, I guess you do, but I mean, that's not a basis for objection. You got to state that there's some improper
he might have been half drunk, but I wouldn't.
Oh, you weren't, but are you, when's the last time you had a drink?
Last night, yes, sir.
How late last night?
Probably about 9 o'clock.
You're still under the influence right now. So what were you doing when you were at the party? So you say you were at the party and you really wanted the cocktail sauce. You took his keys and his truck.
They was laying on the counter. I ain't never had no complaint
She
from
didn't even
them.
go towards the grocery store. That wreck didn't even happen. There was
Well, that's another thing. If we take the overlay of where this occurred, it is not going to the nearest source of cocktail sauce. So where were you going?
I was going straight to the grocery store.
Did you get it? No.
Yeah, I did. Most expensive cocktail sauce I ever bought in my life. But I got it.
In other words, you were drunk as hell and you had no business taking the vehicle and ruining this multiple $1,000 item of property here so you could get some cocktail sauce. And on top of it, you don't have a driver's license. Your driving privileges are not in good order.
Excuse me, Judge. He don't
Well,
either.
he wasn't the drunk driving down the street.
He only decided to sue me after I started living with somebody else.
He might have said good riddance.
Which he had have, and just been done with it.
In a vehicle taking a swim with the fish and an idiot having to swim to the shore, hitchhiking home soaking wet to go back and eat some boiled shrimp with some cocktail sauce is about as asininely stupid as it gets.
Thank you.
Oh, my. Now, you have problems in your life. Let's talk about them. And you obviously are in denial. You have a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old.
Hold
They
up.
don't live with you. And you have a 2-year-old son with the plaintiff, and he's got the 2-year-old. So you are technically
don't
a mother.
have a 2-year-old.
Oh, yes, he does. And
No, he don't.
no, excuse me. Right now, you're not paying child support on any of your 3 children, and you don't have the custody of any of them.
Excuse me, Judge.
You
What
are
does that-
no, this has got a lot to do with it because you're going to kill somebody with your irresponsible self. See, the other side of it is an innocent citizen with a good driver's license is driving down the roadway and you almost head on that person.
Because they was in my lane.
You can't even stand up because your foot. They was in my lane. Get back there and stick your naive, out of control self. You know this is under California and United States law. I really can have you arrested. We do every now and then.
Good. You're just being mean.
I know. I'm being mean.
I
So are you.
know.
I'm trying to save you, and I'm trying to save this country from stupidity.
You ain't trying to save me, you're trying to save him.
He's supporting the child you have with him. You aren't, mother. But you feel good about yourself?
Not yet.
You picked her.
I think it ain't always got me in the best place.
Live and learn. 3,000 in your cost. That's your jurisdictional limit.
And this courtroom is now in recess.
The defendant didn't deny that she was under the influence in court. Certainly her judgment wasn't the best. She tried to approach the bench at one point. She's going to have to pay the plaintiff.
Okay, ma'am.
Here, give me 1 second.
Yes. Do you own your own condo, am I correct?
Yes, I do.
Do you have
Yes,
money?
I think
Do you have
so.
money in the bank, ma'am?
Not right now.
Well, how do you pay for your bills at the condo?
Okay.
I work.
What do you do for work?
I work as a hairdresser. I own Beach Bathing Hair Salon, and I'm also Kayla Cupcake.
You're also what?
Kayla Cupcake. I'm an escort too.
No. Right.
One star.
She'll tell you where it is.
Magazine model.
Okay, well, I guess that kind of sums everything up.
Yeah, you can see she's sitting right
And my boyfriend will bail me out this time, I guess.
Okay, all right, ma'am. Look, wow.
I'm also Beach Babies Hair Salon. Beach Babies from Fort Lauderdale Beach and Gulf of Chamel, and I do it in my condo and other people's houses, my clients' houses. A hairdresser.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I wasn't sure.
For 30 years, 30 years.
Wow. State, does she have any priors? I think this is already, I think I remember this from.
And I've been beaten up tonight by police. The police also, and also this too, from somebody who pushed me on the ground.
Judge.
All over my body.
She does have a...
Disgusting. It is just, I have a medical condition. I have
light of her
insomnia.
condition, Judge, please not revoke the law.
What do you suggest we do, sir? I don't think we're releasing her at this point, just based on what I'm saying.
You can ask her. You can ask for the court to her to make an appointment with either Archways or Henderson. She's somebody that needs help. I mean, she's not going to get the treatment that she needs at the jail.
Plaintiffs Amber and Lynette Secreta are suing Amber's former employer for unpaid wages. Defendant Michael Cunningham says he paid Amber a fair wage.
Let's see. Mrs. Secreta and Miss Secreta.
That's correct.
The actual aggrieved party is a 17-year-old high school student, a minor, and she's appearing through her, what we call next best friend, to wit, her mother.
Exactly.
And she is aggrieved because she did several days' worth of work as a photographer for the defendant on an agreed-upon level of compensation.
That's correct.
The plaintiff alleges she did not get that. The agreement appears to be as follows: $100 per day minimum, with more depending upon the on-site sales of photographic images. The plaintiff in this case appears to have been hired upon, I'll say this, the arbitrator's examination of the documentation to work May 29th, May 30th, and May 31st of the year current. Okay. Now, let's see. I take it that you are the photographer for your high school yearbook.
Yes, that is correct, sir.
All right. Now, you've been doing this for about 2.5 years.
That is correct.
Now, how did you come, or the defendant come to your attention, Mr. Cunningham?
Well, during about a week or so before the tournament.
This is a tournament?
Yes, it is a soccer tournament. It's a very big tournament in the
So I
Rogue
take
Valley.
it you were supposed to, for the 4-day period of the tournament, take pictures of the players, the teams,
That is
and
correct.
the parents and stuff.
That is correct. So how it happened is that there was another photographer named James who, first of all, Mike approached him and seen if there was any other photographers who were interested in this, and so that's why James said, well, Mr. Cunningham, sorry about that.
Thank you.
This is, she's a great photographer, and it's an excellent opportunity, and I saw it as an excellent opportunity because I enjoy photography so much. So the Rogue Valley Soccer Cup, it's one of the biggest soccer tournaments in the Oregon area, and it was just a great experience for me, and photography is something I want to expand on as a possible career.
Your work looks good. You submitted something. Looks
Thank
good.
you. I take great pride in my work, and this tournament also, too, being a 3-day tournament, I worked very long and very hard hours, and I feel like I do deserve this money big time.
And you say you've been paid $75, and
Yes,
you're
I have.
demanding the balance of $225. All right,
That is
very
correct.
good. Excellent presentation. Defend yourself, please.
Defend myself. Okay. Well, I'm not disagreeing with a lot of it, other than the fact that the business did not make any money. And the
Is
person
that her problem?
The person that she's referring to, James, you know, we went into this as a kind of a joint venture that we would be hopefully making very good money. Because I had 5 photographers there. They all left with 0 money, pretty much. So
you employed 5 photographers. The business didn't work. You lost your shirt on it.
She wanted $300 guaranteed at the beginning.
Well, that's
before
what it
I
says.
even knew how it was even going.
Well, you signed
It's the
it,
first time
agreement.
doing it.
Let me publish this agreement. As conversations before the soccer tournament and our phone call on the 20th day in the evening at 9 p.m., there will be a guaranteed payment of $100 each day for my time, not including internet sales.
Right.
Etc. $100 a day minimum.
And then we agreed on $150, which she didn't mention whatsoever.
Well, she's not going there, but she's going here.
Right. And she
Guarantee
had
of
another
$100
document.
a day. What do you think a guarantee means? Says guarantee.
It says guarantee, but
that
if
means whatever come
did
hell or high water,
$138
there
in
will
sales.
be $100 per day. And then it details excess that goes over there depending upon how well the business made. So what's the fact that you didn't make anything or you lost money got to do with your employee? You guaranteed it, so that's a done deal. Guarantee $300. She was there 3 days.
Well, the original, not contract, but verbal contract,
75
is that you're making
from
60,
300. She's good at arithmetic. That leaves $225. So what's your situation got to do with anything?
Well,
I know. Everything is relative. What it says does not mean what it says. And this is what you want to show her about the adult aspects of her country, her community, is the best thing to do, and say it with a straight face, is to rip this young girl off after having benefit of her labors, doing what she did, capturing images, which are good images. I've examined some of them, giving them to you for your business, and saying, well, I had a hard time, so tough she'll have to suffer. That isn't what you brought her in for.
And you know something, Your Honor, if you mind me saying this, the thing is he did not give me any employment forms at all. So how else was I supposed to protect myself? I felt that this agreement right here was the best
Young
way.
lady, I commend you. This is outstanding. It's been so long since I've seen anybody under 45 act like they've got any damn sense in here in 13 years. It's like, there's hope for the country.
I agree with the contract. Other
Well,
than,
then you pay it.
Well, other than, she told me
You
150.
pay.
We met at Costco.
Okay,
That's
sir,
when I met her.
That's the judgment.
Mom, what's that?
Are you trying to make yourself look worse instead of
I'm not
commenting?
trying
No,
to.
you're looking bad. Sir, you know what you could have done and told me the truth about it. Look, I meant to pay this girl, but I've
If
got...
I had it, I would have.
Hold on, listen to me closely. Sir, I meant to pay this girl. She did good work.
She did?
Did great. It's just the economy so bad, it was sort of between a rock and a hard place.
She had a list of people that were
Shut
going to
up
buy.
and listen, sir. There
They
are some
didn't buy
things
from
I
me.
tried to balance, and I'm sorry I put her through this. That's the way you should have presented it. I'm waiting for somebody to be man enough or woman enough to come up in here and tell me that. So I'll tell you what, too. I think this is not done in good faith. I'm throwing another 100 on there. That'll be 325.
Thank you.
I said, remember what happens is if somebody has an accident, you should have sued her, joined her as a party defendant, necessary to party defendant, and since she's a minor, her mother. I'm glad you restrained yourself from doing to her what I think you wanted to do to her, didn't you?
Yeah, I was really angry.
Yeah. Has she done this kind of thing before, something like this?
No,
What got into her today?
I have no idea.
Well, if she'd been pregnant, I can understand maybe you got a craving for something, but she wasn't. It's 1:30 in the afternoon, and Burger King is 2 blocks away. Well, maybe it's not a fault. Maybe she got possessed. Whatever was in that vehicle got into her. Or have you been smoking something lately?
No.
Now, your video. Let's put the video up.
Can I also add, I just got that car last year. I just bought that car last August. I've only had it a year. I just paid registration for it and everything. And I just had to buy another car this year. I'm just 2 years out of college. I don't have a lot of money to be buying cars every year because someone wants to drive on top of it. So, I mean, and I also have the estimate of the damages, car rental fees,
Pass
everything.
that up if you would.
Proof
Now-
from my insurance company that they didn't pay for it. And I was also wondering why defendant number 1 didn't have insurance since it's required by state law.
Actually, what the problem seems to have been is the defendant number 215 wasn't authorized to operate the vehicle, and she wouldn't have been covered. She's unlicensed as it is. So what happens is, sorry, you don't have coverage. Now, you know what? You could have been criminally prosecuted. Do you know that?
They released her to me, actually.
And of course, you like her brother
Yes,
a lot?
yes.
And of course, you didn't want to totally jack up a would-be potential sister-in-law, did you?
Well, no, I mean, I didn't know. I didn't want it to go off on the mom. You know, she had nothing to do with it. You know, the police, when they released her to me, and I told them to take her to jail. But they just left her with me.
You didn't want her.
No.
And you didn't want that demon that was up in that car that she put up in there.
We'll be back with more Judge Joe Brown in a moment.
Now, Mama, Do you have money to take care of her responsibility?
I'm not taking care of nothing.
Oh, but you see, the problem is you can get stuck that way. Do you know why? She's still a minor.
Yeah, but they was in her care.
That's
and
all
both
right.
of them are adults.
No. She's not emancipated.
Yeah,
that's your daughter.
both of them are, yeah.
So you can be required
But she didn't get in my Lincoln was sitting outside.
I understand, but the bottom line is, excuse me.
But she know what I would have did to her.
You may wind up getting an opportunity to do what you would have done to her driving that Lincoln, because the way it's going, that Honda Civic is going to be like yours too.
No.
Oh yeah, because something wrong with Miss Thing over here. No. She's all to this and that. You think you too important to take care of it. See, you know what? Your mama is out there in the cold too. Sound like you've been smoking something, but what you sound like you've been smoking, you might not have had an appetite for that Burger King. And quite frankly, it would do you some good at 15 to go take a 2-block walk. And you stand in front of me, wrong, dead wrong, with one of the most preposterous stories I've been entertained by in a long time, and tell me you can't walk 2 blocks because you are special. You never walk anywhere. Maybe if you learn about TCB taking care of business and what your obligations and responsibilities are instead of what everybody else owes you, you might be able to do something. And you got a boy at home? How is this boy going to be responsive to one of your girlfriend's daughters 15, 20, 25 years from now, talking about what he doesn't have to do? She can support him because mama said everybody owes me. I don't have to walk anywhere. I'm special. 2 blocks away, ain't putting foot to pavement.
I agree. What do you say?
Do you see this look she's giving me? She acts like she's the one that got wrong. I think she really now is starting to believe this tale that the car took off on its own.
She told me that. No, I'm not believing it because I know.
Supernatural.
I know for a fact. It's nothing to believe.
That's ridiculous.
But she's serious.
I know, you're actually serious.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Your mama's looking at you strange.
The car just jumped and took off by itself.
Your brother's girlfriend is looking at you like you done lost your mind. The plaintiff is looking at you like you lost your mind. Maybe you need some therapy or something.
No.
You need something?
No.
A wake-up call? Or maybe I can go find one of the priests I'm acquainted with doing exorcism on you. You're going to get your $5,000, which is the maximum I can give you over here. I think your damages come up so close to it, what with the interest and everything else, we'll go there. Now, there's a question over here. I'm talking because I'm trying to figure out what to do with you, because I'm going to feel bad if I just get real technical and bust this lady over here. What I'm looking at, since the plaintiff sued you directly, is as follows. You committed theft, grand theft auto. It's joyriding. Under the circumstances that completely absolves her. She had nothing to do with it. I always hear, but they stole the car. This time I believe you. And I believe you. She stole the vehicle.
I mean, I made the police report also.
Yeah, I saw that in there. I just looked at that. You ripped this car off, and you were so egregious about this whole thing coming in here that I think maybe you have some mental health issues.
No.
What I'm going to do over here, defendant number 1, I'm going to find that your property was stolen. It had nothing to do with this. And defendant number 2, liability will be yours. You're a minor, but it's tortious because you committed a theft. That's an intentional act that you did. So the judgment's going to be $5,000 against defendant number 2. And you get your court costs.